Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
You are about to listen to the Dr. Daliah Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Daliah Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Daliah.
All right, we are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. Okay, before we begin, I'm a little frustrated. I'm actually very, very frustrated. All right, with what's been going on as it pertains to our iPhone chargers. And so I apologize. I'm actually having some issues. Oh, even my broadcast. Look at this tech. I'm sorry. I'm having a bad tech day. And I don't know if you all are having the same issue, but I am. And I think I'm getting frustrated because I used to be able to fix my faucet. I could fix my toilet. I could fix my car. We had that sort of knowledge. And I'm just wondering if where we are today with this reliance on tech is where they don't want us to be able to fix it ourselves. They want this vulnerability, this dependency. And I don't like it. I'm getting older in my years. Okay. If I couldn't do something myself, it's like, let's say I had an issue with my car. I could just smile and bat my eyes and get somebody to help me. Okay. I'm not at the age now where I could get somebody to do things for me. Okay. Now it's like, ma'am, why don't you get your grandkid to help you? I don't have grandchildren, you little thing. I want to be able to do things for myself. And so one thing that happened recently, and I'm very grateful, Mother's Day's coming up, then my birthday comes up. So my husband usually will do like a combined gift, which I tell him he doesn't have to get me gifts because all I want is, a steak and some chocolate and, time in the bathroom, to myself without the dogs and kids bugging me. That's all I need for Mother's Day. But he decided, because my phone was cracking and acting up, to get me a new iPhone. And so he got me the new iPhone 16 Max for Mother's Day and my birthday, which is really, really cool. But I wasn't that happy when he said that. And it's not because of the price of these things. It's because the charger situation. Right now have the situation set up all perfect with my current iPhone on my backup charger, on the charger by my bed, with the charger at my workstation, at my studio. The new iPhone, it's a different charger. Why? Well, because they just want you to buy more stuff. And we give into this. This is BS. So now I've had to buy, and so the phone came with a charger, but did it come with a plug to go into a wall socket? No, they don't do that anymore. So you used to get a plug and it would go into the wall. You would charge your phone, and then everywhere you went with that plug. Now, well, it's a cord. And I think it's a C cord, but it's not the same C cord as other things because I have a dust buster. And it doesn't work on that. That's another little baby cord thing. And I don't know all the different types. Everybody says, well, just a C cord. It's just a C. No, it's not a C cord because I'm trying to shove these cords into other things and they don't work. And now I have a house of cords I don't even know what to do with where they are. I did buy a charger that you could take to Disneyland. You know, it's like a portable charger where it has a whole bunch of different arms to it, depending on what I need to charge. But I'm sick of this. Why isn't this simple? I mean, it's 2025 for crying out flipping loud. We don't know how to just put everything to a plug anymore. We have to complicate matters now with multiple stupid chargers. And I don't like that because one of the worst things to happen to me on a non-serious basis is having a phone that goes out and I can't charge it. So right now, what's in my car won't charge my new phone. And I want to be happy and I want to be excited. I want to tell my husband this is awesome. What a great gift. But I can't charge the sucker. Right? I mean, I have to now buy a whole bunch of chargers and I can't tell the difference. Even with reading glasses, I can't tell that the old charger is not the same as the new charger. Why are they so different? And now I'm nervous about my little thumb drives. If you guys are screwing around with an actual plug, where now it's like you don't even need a plug, you just need to stick in your airplane seat a USB, and now there's USA and there's C and there's all these other things, well then what's going to happen to my thumb drive? Are you going to screw around with that? I used to store so much stuff on floppy disks. I have floppy disks, and I don't know what the hell to do with them because nothing takes a floppy disk. I have CDs of my old shows, old recordings on CDs. I can't stick them anywhere because nothing uses CDs. Now, and listen, you know, I don't want to sound like an old fart, but I'm sorry. It just, I'm not doing well with this. Every 2 years, we're going to change the tech, screw you all over. You're going to have to spend extra money, and you're just going to have to adapt and reformat all your crap, or you're going to be behind the times, or you're not going to have anything to share with your kids or grandkids. And that's BS. In fact, there's a growing movement for people to bring back VHS and 8-tracks and cassettes and records, like vinyl records, because people have these things and they want to share that sort of tech and those memories with their kids. And if it doesn't stream live, you can't access it. And that's really ridiculous. So I'll let you know how the new phone is. I mean, right now, I don't see any difference except the stupid charging. And I'm really frustrated. I'm not good with change. And I don't like the length of the cord because I like it super long because the dog, you know, always knocks it. And then the dog knocks it out when she jumps on the bed. And then my phone doesn't charge. You know, I like things the way it is. And I'm really getting sick and tired that every couple of years something changes. Now, somebody can say, but Dr. Daliah, don't be breaking your phone. If you don't break your phone might last longer than 2 years. Thank you. But that's still, I understand that is a piece of advice. But the problem is I'm going to have to get a new phone eventually, and it's going to have a new stupid cord. So now I'm stuck with new cords. I don't know what the hell to do with, and I'm not happy. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH. Don't go away. Hi, guys. Dr. Daliah here. Addictions can sneak up on us and come in many forms, whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, video games, porn, or something less obvious such as food, internet, or shopping. Addiction can seem innocent at first and then evolve into an insurmountable evil. In our book, Addiction Basics, Caitlin Kalikas and I dive into the common addictions and provide tips for identifying and preventing these before they sneak in and take over our lives. Addiction Basics can be found on Amazon or my website, drdaliah.com. Check it out.
Carl Amari here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you, and be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
At Hotshot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
diesel fuel cetane levels.
the cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hotshot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to totalwellness.com. Supplements made for physicians only now available to you too. totalwellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
Oikos presents 15 Seconds of Strength.
Here we go. Steve's got a trunk full of groceries and no one to help him.
Oh, that's tough, Jim. Looks like a 5-trip load at least.
He grabs the first bag, the second. Bob, it looks like he's trying to do it all in one trip. He shimmies the door open, steps over the dog. Oh, and he stumbles.
Oh, right into the kitchen without missing a beat. Jim, now that's a man who eats his protein-packed Oikos.
With 15 grams of complete protein in each cup, Oikos Triple Zero can help build strength for every day. Oikos, stronger makes everything better.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
All right. We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Dr. 1-877-DOCDALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer, and big thanks to y'all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on X or Twitter at Dr. Daliah, Facebook, The Dr. Daliah Show, and on YouTube, click like and subscribe. So President Trump has been in office for 100 days, reaching this 100-day milestone. He has achieved more than all of his predecessors in such a short a period of time. And approval ratings have dropped a little bit because people are nervous about the tariff. It fascinates me that we were told we have to be very patient with global warming and climate change legislation and cost to you to change out your solar paneling and appliances and cars, where we're supposed to be patient because this is going to help our great-grandchildren or our great-great-grandchildren. But when it comes to tariffs, nobody has any patience and they want results, within 5 days. That I don't. So we're supposed to be patient for one thing and not the other. But I think the majority of people are understanding what's going on with the tariffs and support it. And overall, Trump has been doing very favorably among those who voted him in and even some of those who didn't vote him in. So here we are with the first 100 days. And so, people are looking at the economy, and 100 days is not enough to fix the damage Biden did. But we have seen egg prices go down, gas prices go down, inflation go down. So this is a huge positive. We're being told that some pharmaceutical companies, such as Merck, are going to be building, I believe, in Delaware. I need to double check where they're going to be, but they are going to be bringing manufacturing here to America, which is something we need. We need all our pharmaceuticals to be made here in America, not to be reliant on China. And so we're making some movements. I'm noticing gas prices are dropping. In terms of rent, there's been some housing prices dropping. Some people say, oh, well, it's because the housing market is going to crash. Houses, they are going down. They say new vehicle prices have not seen much of a change in price from the last year or so. They are anticipating cars to go up based on tariffs, but in terms of cars, I know we had an issue with one of our cars that we decided, as it's coming up close to the end of warranty, we're going to probably trade it in. And we usually buy used cars because we just don't like the depreciation. And I guess we just like to get used cars and have to deal with those issues. But the prices weren't that bad. And in fact, what you get for your used car, the resale value is a lot better than it's been. And so that could be very, 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 very promising. But, I worry about, our safety. I worry about national security. And in the first 100 days, one of the biggest accomplishments Trump did was securing the border. I know the media wants to talk about the tariffs and all that, but what an accomplishment in terms of arrests, in terms of gotaways. What a task. Securing the border and then deporting Tren de Aragua, MS-13 gang members. For them to find them and to deport them, tough task. And, Biden, everybody says, all Trump's doing is deporting. Biden deported too. Obama deported also. But Trump is finding the criminals, and he's finding them, and these are some bad, bad people. And I think within the first 100 days for him to secure the border, he secured the border within minutes. And it's pretty, pretty damn impressive. Now, Canada still remaining fairly liberal, and they're going to be butting heads with Trump. I do not expect Canada to become the 51st state. I look at those things that Trump says as a distraction. I don't really see Trump annexing Canada, but I see him giving the media, what's it called? Chum or what, for fish to munch on while he could be doing other things and drawing in bigger fish. And so, the idea of taking over Canada, no, I think he just wants the media to be dissecting that while he gets other stuff done. Greenland, though, he wants to move forward on. And when you look at Greenland, I mean, that could be very, very strategic as long as people of Greenland are happy. Now, obviously, right now there's resistance. Why is America doing that? But I got to tell you, Trump is going to want to leave this term with very permanent fixes and very permanent positive moves for America. And as I said this from a psychology standpoint, what Trump did not like is how people tried to erase his 4 years. What he did with the economy in his first term, it was fantastic. Some of the best years we've ever had. Then COVID happens, and all everybody does is try to blame him on that or, call him names, etc. And people forget. Once prices go up, people forget. Now, not everybody forgot, which is why Biden did not, last, and being able to make it through another presidential election, not to mention his cognitive state, but it tarnished Kamala Harris. And so people did remember that the economy was much better, and Trump knows how to improve an economy. But Trump wanted moves that would be more permanent. And he also understands that even with the wall, people could take down the wall. What does he do to make changes that are going to be longer lasting? Now, people are always asking, when is he going to nominate another Supreme Court justice? He doesn't have to do that right now. He's probably going to need to do that before he leaves office. And I wouldn't be surprised if one of the older justices retires and then he replaces it. But right now, it's only his first 100 days. Not necessary. I mean, he needs somebody, he still has a good couple years. And the younger they are, the longer they could last. So not going to happen, but I'm sure it will be. Making the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. Some people thought that was ticky-tack. Other people thought that was absolutely brilliant. Now, I mean, personally, I think we have more land surrounding the Gulf. I agree. It is more of a Gulf of America than the Gulf of Mexico. But, whether people want to argue about it or not, he had bigger fish to fry and other things to do. So it gave him a little break in the media while they all decided to, like piranhas, swim around the Gulf of America. A big thing he has done and is continuing to do is look for the waste, fraud, and abuse and start to minimize the size of the government. Not the most popular part of his agenda if you were a federal worker. And where I said the misstep was the proper step that they did take is you have to work on site. We're not going to do this work from home. If you want a government salary and all the goodies and the benefits, then you come to the office. If not, here, take this deal where you will be paid in full all the way through to September, and then we part ways nicely. That made perfect sense. What I didn't like is individuals who said, no, I'm working on site. I want to work on site. I love my job. I'm with you. They then turn around and get laid off a couple weeks later. That I didn't like. And so I would have done the layoffs differently, offering early retirement packages, doing hiring freezes, repositioning workers to areas where we do need more. If we need more in border security, then allowing people to either take a new position or not. I just didn't like the random firing. Now, I do understand there were some agencies that were so wrought with fraud and abuse that they didn't know what was contaminated, and I get that. And we have seen some very, very ugly waste, fraud, and abuse. But again, from a popularity standpoint, federal workers not liking the idea that they may be canned at any moment, especially if they're hard workers. But the changes he's making, especially with the with the military, removing DEI and things that were hurting recruitment, that we were struggling with recruitment, and we're being told that that's starting to improve. People are getting excited about being a part of our military again. That's huge. And one of the biggest things as a doctor, I am finding that we're seeing within the first 100 days is people are starting to trust the CDC and starting to trust some of the reworkings and restructuring of the Department of Health and Human Services under RFK Jr. People don't want to be lied to or BS'd. And there's been a lot of transparency offered. So I'm excited about that. We'll see where it goes. 1-877-DOC-Daliah.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
diesel fuel cetane levels.
in many states, the cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts. Due to a cleaner burn, there are less hydrocarbons and particulate matter in your exhaust. This reduces the blockage of your diesel particulate filter. Using Diesel Extreme generates 83% less DPF regeneration. The 6-in-1 Diesel Extreme formula also includes the most concentrated detergent on the market, lubricity enhancer, water demulsifier, rust and corrosion inhibitors, and a fuel stabilizer.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Oikos presents 15 Seconds of Strength.
Here we go. Steve's got a trunk full of groceries and no one to help him.
Oh, that's tough, Jim. Looks like a 5-trip load at least.
He grabs the first bag, the second. Bob, it looks like he's trying to do it all in one trip. He shimmies the door open, steps over the dog, and he stumbles.
Oh, right into the kitchen without missing a beat. Jim, now that's a man who eats his protein-packed Oikos.
With 15 grams of complete protein in each cup, Oikos Triple Zero can help build strength for every day. Oikos, stronger makes everything better.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So this is a very interesting study we need to talk about as it pertains to abortion and the abortion pills. So now we have the ability with mifepristone and misoprostol to do abortions non-surgically, where one blocks the progesterone and one causes the uterine contractions for people to expel an unwanted pregnancy. And doctors for years have said there are still side effects. I know a pill is a lot safer than a surgical procedure, dilatation and curettage and suction and all the other things that were done to remove an abortion or to remove a fetus. But the idea that these pills are risk-free was a myth and not accurate. And we need to be a lot more transparent and educative with especially young women so that they are aware that side effects could happen and then report it and understand that something could go wrong. So in this latest study, they're saying 1 in 10 women were found to have, quote, severe adverse effects after using mifepristone because it had 22 times the side effects of the FDA-approved label. Now, these studies have limitations, but the mifepristone blocks the progesterone, and you need progesterone for the pregnancy. When you want the pregnancy, when you want the baby, your body, God willing it works correctly, will ovulate the egg. The egg will come out. The sperm will come. They'll meet in the tube, the fallopian tube. They will coalesce. Okay, all right, become a zygote. A fertilized egg then comes down the fallopian tube, lands in the uterus. In order for there to be a nice amount of cushion, and vasculature, your progesterone after your ovulation starts to rise. And your progesterone will rise to make sure there's that cushion and make sure there's that support. If you don't get pregnant, there's signals to the brain that then tell the brain, okay, slough it off, and that's when you get your period. But if a signal tells the brain, well, she's pregnant, so don't be sloughing anything, then your progesterone continues to grow and continues to get higher. And so you need progesterone for a baby to work. Many women in my family who miscarried, many patients, I had noticed that they were losing they didn't have enough progesterone to keep the baby. And so one test I would always run if I newly diagnosed somebody being pregnant is I would check their progesterone. And if I saw they had low progesterone, I would immediately inform the OB. I go, look, I'm going to be sending you a new pregnant patient. She's really early, but her progesterone is low. And oftentimes they'd have me start the progesterone early just to be able to help maintain that pregnancy. So you need progesterone. You do. So the mifepristone, how these abortion pills work is the mifepristone blocks the progesterone. So if you don't have the progesterone, you'll start to slough. The misoprostol will cause the uterine contractions and bleeding to allow the fetus to expel or the fertilized egg to expel. Research by the Ethics and Public Policy Center in D.C., and I'm sorry for the very simplified version of that I only have X amount of time per segment to go into all the pathophysiology and embryology of it. But according to this study being reported by Fox News, research by the Ethics and Public Policy Center in D.C. has revealed that the rate of serious side effects is 22 times higher than what was indicated on the FDA drug label. They said 11% of women reported infection, hemorrhaging, or another serious or life-threatening adverse event. Now, the study looked at insurance claims data that included more than 865,000 medical abortions prescribed between 2017 and 2023. This is one of the largest ever data sets. And they say, by contrast, the current FDA-approved drug label is based on the results of 10 clinical trials of 30,000 women. Less than 0.5% had reported severe adverse reactions. And some of those studies were done, they said, as long as 42 years ago. So if you're having an obese woman, if you're having a woman with a much different, shall we say, hormonal makeup than a woman 42 years ago, there might be different data. But because they said this data set was, maybe 20 to 25 times more than the original data set, they were able to pull some very interesting data, and they said the results were truly shocking and a sad reality. But they said they weren't exactly surprised by these findings because other studies with smaller data sets found significant safety problems with chemical abortions. So what do we do with this? Well, if somebody is suffering from, I think the Guttmacher Institute also had a study looking at severe complications in some, not everybody, from these abortion pills. We need to educate the public that now that we have these prescriptions, where you can just go and get an abortion pill, that doesn't mean you don't have a doctor overseeing it. It doesn't mean you don't follow up. It doesn't mean you understand that there could be some serious risks. To expel a pregnancy is not something the body wants to do lightly. And, we pop pills for everything. And because we want to fight nature, we want to fight the way our body does things. We want to live longer. And, I'm very grateful for the pharmaceuticals we have. But when I talk to young girls who are sexually active, asking for birth control and I'll always ask them, okay, now that you're sexually active, I want to make sure you're thinking about everything. Are you using protection so you don't get an STI? What happens if you become pregnant? Well, I'll just get an abortion. The number one answer I get from a teenager, what happens if you get pregnant now that you're sexually active, is I'll just get an abortion. And they say that as it's the easiest thing, like putting a stamp on an envelope. And so I think people have to be aware that, it's better to not get pregnant. In fact, I can't tell you how many teens will tell me, I don't want to use protection. That's why I'm coming to you for birth control. Duh, boomer. One, I'm not a boomer. Okay, I'm a Gen X. But two, no, you still need to use protection. If you're going to be on birth control to prevent pregnancy, that's not going to protect you against an STI. You still need to be using condoms. You still need to be using protection. So I think there's a lack of education. And this lack of education is growing if we are seeing schools not necessarily go into sex ed with that focus. I know there's a lot of other focuses these days now, but those were the things that used to be taught, and kids would go to their doctor. If you wanted birth control, you would have to go into your doctor. I'm grateful that there is birth control over the counter for people who need access to it, but now they're not getting the pelvic exam. They're not getting the pap smear. They're not getting STD checks, and they're not getting the education. And so when a teenager would tell me, I'll just get an abortion, I explained to them what that abortion was and why you probably want to avoid the unwanted pregnancy as opposed to thinking, well, that's okay, I could just trade it in, or I could just, refund the gift. It's a little bit more complicated than that. And hemorrhaging, infection, scarring, even though the pills have been found to have fewer complications than surgical abortions, you're not, scot-free. So you need to, we need to take this data, talk about it, introduce it to individuals, and help them understand that even though we have increased access to abortion, it's not the safest thing out there, and that try to avoid the unwanted pregnancy is obviously the most safe. 1-877 Doc Daliah. Don't go away. Dr. Daliah here. Are you tired, burned out, gaining weight, succumbing to the daily pressures of life? Well, how's your dopamine doing? How you feel right now, how you'll feel an hour from now, and how you'll feel next week is completely reliant on your dopamine. Our daily motivation and willingness to push through challenges depends on the intricate chemical process dopamine provides. Christian Kalikas and I created Deploying Dopamine, a book that tells you what dopamine is, when it dysfunctions, and how to successfully deploy it when needed. Find Deploying Dopamine on Amazon today. Check it out.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to TotalWellness.com. Supplements made for physicians only now available to you too. TotalWellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
Self-reliance. It's not a phrase we hear much in our culture these days. It might conjure up images of pioneers, the West, rifles, strapping men, and strong women. But what does it mean for us in today's world? The New American Magazine has just released its latest collector's edition, Self-Reliance, Foundation of Freedom. In it, the New American authors outline the necessity of self-reliance for a free people, tips for self-reliant living, and the importance of not giving up hope. This unique edition includes articles on the self-sufficiency of the founders, preparing for a worst-case scenario, firearms, financial self-reliance, the importance of community, and many other topics by expert writers. Now, for a limited time, the New American is offering a bundle of 3 collector's editions, Self-Reliance, The Great Reset, and Trump World, for just $19.95. Available at shopjbs.org. Visit shopjbs.org today.
Oikos presents 15 Seconds of Strength.
Here we go. Steve's got a trunk full of groceries and no one to help him.
Oh, that's tough, Jim. Looks like a 5-trip load at least.
He grabs the first bag, the second. Bob, it looks like he's trying to do it all in one trip. He shimmies the door open, steps over the dog, and he stumbles.
Oh, right into the kitchen without missing a beat. Jim, now that's a man who eats his protein-packed Oikos.
With 15 grams of complete protein in each cup, Oikos Triple Zero can help build strength for every day. Oikos, stronger makes everything better.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
All right, we are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. 1-877 Dr. Daliah, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So there is a high school student who is a star student at a Maryland high school. She also got a 1450 on her SAT. All right, well done, well done. Me, that wasn't an easy task, but it's probably one of my greatest accomplishments. Everything went downhill after my SATs, but she got a 1450 on her SAT, and her GPA weighted 4.76. My GPA was, I think, 4.5 weighted. So, this person is a superstar. Is she going to graduate with honors? What is going to happen at graduation? Is she valedictorian? No. She doesn't get to graduate. School's not going to graduate her. Why? According to New York Post, she refuses to complete a mandatory health course with LGBTQ plus affirming and religious discrimination in part of its content. They find it objectionable due to their deeply held Christian faith. So this girl won't graduate unless she takes a course that does not align with her religious values. Now, to protect her privacy, they're going to refer her to as Jane. According to New York Post, Jane's family told Fox News Digital that they have been fighting for over 2 years for their daughter to be granted an opt-out from the course, or to be allowed to take an alternative class at a private school, or do independent study under a teacher of their choosing. To meet this requirement, to no avail. Her father said she's pretty distraught about not being able to graduate with all her friends and experience that rite of passage. 4.7 GPA and a 1450 on her SAT. Parents have filed a petition to the Maryland Supreme Court asking them to review their case against the Montgomery County Board of Education. Now, this started back in August of 22. The parents learned that Jane was enrolled in a health class for her upcoming sophomore year, which was required for graduation. They became aware that LGBTQAI plus content would be incorporated throughout the year-long course, rather than limited to the family life and human sexuality unit of the course that had been previously. Screenshots of alleged teacher training documents obtained by parents and shared with Fox News asked teachers to review LGBTQAI plus resources to incorporate more inclusive language, and it allegedly provided teachers with a list of privileged and oppressed people groups. It named Christians as privileged and non-Abrahamic religions, spiritualities as oppressed. They say a lesson invites teachers to have students identify people groups impacted by health inequities, such as trans and gender expansive, LGBTQ+, and people who identify with non-Christian faiths. Another document they received called Worship of the Written Word asked teachers to recognize white supremacy culture. Now, you know, a health class in high school is supposed to be about nutrition. It's supposed to be about exercise. It's supposed to be about your metabolism. It's supposed to be about preventing STIs, preventing chronic disease, first aid, CPR. And being a medical academician, I do think it's important for especially medical students and nursing students to understand that people of different cultures may approach medicine differently. Like, I learned a lot about the Hispanic culture because I spoke Spanish and I took care of a lot of Hispanic patients, and they look at, medicines differently than Americans may. In terms of taking chronic medications, many people of Hispanic cultures take it once. And they might look like they're not being compliant with their medication regimen, but that's sometimes a very new concept, to be on a medication chronically and not, like they would say, tome mi medicina. I took my medicine, past tense, but it's something that's more chronic. And so it is important to understand the different, if you are taking care of patients of different cultures, to understand it's impossible to learn every culture inside and out, but you want to have an understanding that they may not do things the same way an American does. That's understandable. And that there are going to be certain populations that might not have the access to urgent cares, that might not have the access to be able to pay for wound care, bandages, things like that. And so we have to be aware of what to use in the community to help individuals who don't have access to that. But once they start making the students feel like they are racist when they haven't even done anything yet, or that they are already guilty before they even committed a crime, that really takes it way too far. And there's, it's very simple to explain the concept that other populations may not have the same frame of reference you do. Okay, and that's a concept we all need to learn. Some of us forget that, and we need to understand that. I have to understand all the time that being a doctor, the average patient might not understand my thinking of the pathophysiology and the anatomy and the embryology and the histology. So I have to understand without using language that would be I forget what the word for it, when it looks like you're trying to appease somebody or trying to minimize the education aspect of it. So we always have to be aware of who our audience is. When you're in marketing, you need to be aware of who your audience is. That's very, very important in order to be successful and in order to get the message across. And you can't assume that everybody has a car in their garage. That's why I was so confused about the Democrats and electric vehicles. They're pushing and mandating people have electric vehicles, but don't they understand a lot of people live in apartments? You can't charge your car when I parked on the side. I would park on Ventura Boulevard or a side street, wherever I could find parking when I had an apartment in California. Where the hell am I supposed to be charging it? I mean, you got to understand your audience. But unfortunately, many of these classes want people to feel so guilty and marginalize them that's not the right way to teach it. Well, anyway, so the parents suggested Jane take a health class at a local accredited Catholic high school or through independent study. And the school system said no, wouldn't let him. And offering options, it sounds like they did their due diligence and they did their part. School board denied the request. They appealed the administrative decision to the Circuit Court of Montgomery County in August 2024. In December, the court upheld the school board's decision, and the parents filed an appeal to the appellate court in January. Look at how this has to go. And this girl is a 4.7 GPA, 1450 SAT. She's a superstar. Will be representing the school district well. But because she, has a Catholic faith and wants to, the class to not be involving religion or certain sex topics, she now can't graduate. I mean, and there should be opt-outs and opt-ins. And I've said this before. If you are a teacher and you think parents are not going to be educating their kids on certain health topics, you educate the parents on what they, kids need to, are happening with kids, whether it's fentanyl, sex, etc. And then you tell the parents, look, we could provide education on this, or do you want to? But one of us needs to opt in or opt out. But parents need to have the right to make a decision. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH. Don't go away.
Did you know that healthy arteries make a gas? Yes, actually 3 known gases. Hi, I'm Dr. Mitch, and nitric oxide is a gas that's readily made all day long to keep our arteries open by relaxing the blood vessel walls. By doing this, our circulation is increased, bringing blood, oxygen, and nutrients to every part of your body. Both age and poor diet can lead to a loss of this precious gas, and in turn, blood pressure can go up, energy can go down, and you can get tingling in your hands and feet. Well, our product, Ultimate Nitric Oxide, can easily help fix this lack of nitric oxide. Go to TotalWellness.com. That's TotalWellness.com, where we are helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.